Giving it all we got, giving it all we can, giving it all we got. Oh, climbing up to the top of the world, no fear, we're gonna make it. Everything we want is ours. Whoa.
Hey, good morning from here on the Thai farm, where it had just been so sunny for the last couple of days, and then boom, boom, boom last night, and rain. I think it started, I don't know, 4 in the morning probably, actually. I caught a little bit of a sprinkles last night when I was trying to do something with the light, but I thought, but I went to bed, no rain and all that, and then in the middle of the night it started raining, man. And it rained all the way until this morning. But whoa, god dang it, man, I hate when them lizards jump on my feet. It's like, you see me walking, why do you need to jump on my feet? Trying to get a ride or what? But anyway, everything's wet now. I was gonna work on the gate, but I don't know that I can do that when it's wet. I don't know if mentally I'm up to it. I don't like working with stuff when it's wet, although I should get used to that. Or I probably already am gonna get used to that. But what I thought I'd do today, real quick here, was some of you watched my tour of my Thai Knockdown House, and I always in that tour, as well as in many other videos, I talked about our smaller knockdown house that we put here over 15 years ago. Actually, I've been here almost 2 years, so it might even be closer to 17, because I think I remember it being about 15 when we got here. So dang. But I thought what I would do is give you a short tour of this house, because I've had a couple comments about what this house consists of, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, over a few videos. And a recent sub asked if I ever had a tour video of this house, and I don't think I've had a tour video of it, but I have, shown it during things I was working on when I first got here. And we were trying to do some renovations. In one of my early intros, I'm underneath this house, and replacing one of the beams that goes out kind of over the water, because it had fallen. I don't know if it kind of warped or whatever, but it kind of rotted a little bit, and it was falling, so the floorboard in the middle of the house was sinking, and I felt it soft, and so I went under there, and the beam was messed up, so I went down the road to the used wood guys, and I picked up another beam. Actually, I picked up 2 of them, but I think I wound up only putting 1 of them in there. But this house, when we bought it, it's 28 square meters. When we bought it, I bought it with a split level roof, and you can probably still see this design on the original Thai Lana Home website. It had this, a conical kind of roof, typical Thai bungalow style, and for the price, it came with this sala as well. And the sala also had that conical shingle roof. I mean, it had options. The guy said he could put the tile roof on there and on here, but at the time I was looking at it, and it was, I was thinking, oh, it's really cool, because the wood roof, the wood shingles roof, looked very, tropical, looked really cool. I'm like, no, I want the shingles. And he's like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And but of course, those kind of wood shingles, they're not teak wood shingles, they're just like wood shingles, almost decorative. So I don't know how many years went by, but eventually, because we weren't here, we were coming here each year, and we would we would stay in there maybe, you know, while we were here just for a couple weeks, but we're traveling all around. But over the years, neglect and everything, and Mother Nature just etched away and destroyed that roof really. Had a couple repairs, but in this time when we returned to live here, we had that roof taken off and this tin roof put on, which is a lot better. It's fine. This roof was actually replaced as well, more recently, probably, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that. Again, because the wooden roof had gotten tattered, but there were a couple of storms. You know how they have those, occasionally there's some kind of wicked hailstorms and stuff, and just beats up stuff. And anyway, so the roof was replaced on this several years ago. It probably wouldn't have been if I would have told him to, you know, originally put the tile, but nah. When we moved here, I did go out and I bought this. It's a, what is that, 1, 2, 3, I think it's a 9 tile piece. 1, 2, 3, yeah, there are 9 tiles that make up that mosaic picture. And I just took the old teak wood that we had sitting around, and I made a frame to hold it in place. I actually mounted it to a piece of, I don't know if I mounted it to a piece of cement board or a piece of wood. I think I might have mounted it to cement board, but chances are I probably should take that off of there, because I'll bet you, because this, you know, the wood is staggered, so there's space behind here, and wherever there's space, there's probably creatures living. So I mean, they're not going to be able to eat through the tile and stuff, but anyway, yeah. So at 28 square meters, and if I'm correct in that, it's not a square, so I probably should have measured it, but it's longer than it is wider. So go figure. Maybe it's I don't know, 7 by 4. Well, let's take a look at my Thai house, or my Small Thai Knockdown House. Another thing I did was more recently, I just put a piece of teak here, and I screwed it to the wall so I could hang all the tools, because we're constantly using these tools. And usually I had them chucked over here on the ground or laying up against the sala, and I just wanted them in one space. And the sala itself, even though I put a new roof on it, it needs some work. It's definitely going to be one of my projects to make it nicer, because it's good wood, but it's kind of a dumping grounds of garbage. Not really garbage, but some things that don't work, but we can do something with that. Somebody will come pick that up. We usually put our old Lazada packaging around here, and then somebody comes and picks it up. We have fish food down here, and of course stuff that we're using, whether it's farm tools or whatever. But this had power. It doesn't. I don't think it does anymore. I think I might have turned that off. But these are good solid beams. This was lights that I first put when we first got it, and they're still there. I don't know that they work, but you know, it's still pretty solid stuff after 17 years, let's say. Still solid. We do have some 17 years. We do have some I don't know if that's so much as termite as it is. It probably is termite, but as is just decay from when the wood was first put there. When we first built it, you know, it wasn't even this wood. It wasn't brand new teak wood. It's old hardwood. I think it's teak because we bought it from the teak guy, but you know, it could have been 30 years old before that. And so, you know, weather and everything else gets in there, and occasionally you will have something like a termite or whatever that's able to get in there, but it only goes so far because it's just solid as a rock underneath there. But hey, man. But of course, if I was here every year, you know, when I first bought it and I was re-shellacking it and and taken care of it over the years, I probably wouldn't even have any of that. But the other beams are in really good shape. Still, you know, very strong, solid structure. Nice spiral A-frame, double beamed. Came with that light, it's still there. Yep. The floor is still intact, although I think under here there might be one or two pieces that are messed up. It's got a little swing gate to it. I'm not sure if it had a table here. When we first got it, they might have put a little table there, and it got, you know, taken away to do something else with. But yeah, still in good shape. This window here, when we had come back a few years ago, the top part of the window, one of the pieces of wood there, I think, was broken or messed up, and I had gotten in there and broke it out, and I redid it and everything, and put new, or I think I was able to use the same glass, but I put new frame in there, got the wood and fixed it all up, because it was, you know, it was falling apart just from neglect, you know. But again, still 15 years later, it's still, I'm gonna probably say that 100 times today, 15 or 17, but it's still, you know, in good shape. I originally put the board cover in there. I think that's right, the frame of this middle one was broken out, so I think we replaced that with another window. You can actually find these complete windows at a lot of the side roadside shops. Have all these old windows and stuff like that, and you can just swap them out, buy one, probably a couple $100 baht really, and put a new one in place. It's raised a little bit off of the ground, not much. You can see it's that's probably about a little bit higher than a foot on that beam. It's buried in the ground, probably closer to a meter. You can see it goes underneath and over the water. It's probably about a meter, if I remember, into the ground with a cement post, and then it's bolted to the cement post. So the wood isn't actually buried in the ground, or at least it's not buried too far. And that's typical construction, right? Keep the wood out of the dirt so it doesn't get eaten up. All right, well, let's take a look inside. We'll start with the porch or the balcony. So it's just 3 stairs to go up. There used to actually be a handrail here when we first bought it. It was a handrail, one of these corner posts, which, by the way, you can buy complete corner posts like that at Global Hardware, or you used to be able to. Anyway, yeah, it was right here, the handrail, but I think, you know, it had broken off or something, so we just took that off of there. Just normal little swing gate. By the way, as a disclaimer, I haven't cleaned this place up. This is just kind of how we use it. I should, though. I mean, I will once I get done doing everything else I do. I'll find something to do, and I'll say, you know what, I'm gonna go make that sala better, or that small knockdown house better. And you know, we usually keep our fish food here, and it's extra water for the water jug that we're going to use, you know, for cooking and stuff out here. But it's a pretty nice open, I don't know what you want to call that, balcony or lanai out here. And this portion, you can see, kind of hangs over the water. All of this hangs over the water. I put an extra electrical light here, and I got the line going over for the lights in the trees. So I've done some changes to the electrical work since we've been back. I myself had resurfaced this about, I don't know, it was probably a good 5, 6, 7 years ago when we came. It was getting kind of dry looking, whatever, so I remember sanding it and then staining it and lacquering it, which I probably need to do again, but it's still good and it's still in good solid shape. I've never had to replace any of the boards, never had to replace anything underneath it. I mean, for again, for like say 17 years, that's in pretty good shape, man. And, you know, I think it was a pretty good deal. We this bench has also been the same. I haven't replaced anything on the bench. It's still in good strong shape. You can lean over it. I originally thought of when we came back here, I thought I would take this off and make this go out more and just have like a deck where you just hung your feet over the side or something. This is chopped up papaya, some of the papaya that wasn't ripe. Take that out there and chuck it to the fish. They like eating that. My fishing tackle boxes here and some fish food here. This we always keep, because usually this is a place where we're going to sit and, you know, throw a fishing pole. Even if it's raining, it's a good place to be because, you know, you're covered. When we first bought it, there was this was closed right here with a fence like this, and then there was a bench. I think I don't know if it went here or not, but I think that it was a bench right here, just like this one. But I wound up taking that out. Part of the bench had gotten broken, and then I found a flat piece of wood. I think it was probably teak. What did I do with that? That's over here somewhere. And I used that for the seat of the bench, and it worked out okay. And I was gonna put dark varnish on it. I thought it was gonna be dark, but I used that black varnish, and it was actually black, like paint. And so it was funny looking, but anyway, I took that out when we decided that when we first came back, we decided to build on to it this outdoor kitchen. So these 4 beams, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the whole flooring basically from here is an add-on just for this year. So when we bought this Small Knockdown, it didn't come with this. We built this little outdoor kitchen. I put that out there for the barbecues and stuff. We did have a guy, actually my wife got this part started before I came here. She arrived in Thailand a couple weeks before I did, and she went out here, of course, and got to work and got a local guy that does side jobs, him and his wife actually, and they did this, they built this. Although I did put the siding on here and the, you know, the siding there and the bars to create the walls to hang stuff on and stuff, and we bought this, of course. But yeah, the 4 beams and the roof and the flooring and the tile and all that stuff, it was, I think that cost us maybe about 10,000 baht. It wasn't much at all. It was like $300 or $400. Again, you have from the outside here, and we also put the aircon in there this year. We took that from my mother-in-law's house where we used to have a room over there, our bedroom, so we took that and put it here. And then yeah, so you got 5 windows on this side. Again, these are original windows from 15 years ago. You can see there's a little bit of discoloration up there because some of the shellac had flaked off, but although we did reapply the shellac this year. And here, just like the other ones, you get those little mud filling in, mud wasps or whatever, and you got to knock those out when you can. And this wood itself, again, it lasts a long time, but it does, because of the nature of the way they do this, it's got these grooves in there. I have found that just about everywhere I went, the windows, all when they're brand new, they have that cut and looks really cool and everything, but when you have those dips and stuff, that's a haven for those mud nests and everything to get in there. The wood itself, though, like I say, you know, it's still in good shape. Haven't really had to replace any of that at all, so pretty happy about that. I did the electrical in here, put a little bit of a shade over there because it gets blazing hot, and if it rains really hard, that's why I put this here, to protect the cooker and stuff from getting rained on. My wife was worried about that, but it's a pretty good deal. The door, I've reworked it a couple times because of, you know, I think over the years the elements that, you know, it got maybe a little bigger, this or that, or just from people opening it and closing it or whatever. I needed to reseat it into the frame. Actually, I removed a beam of part of the frame on this side and replaced it with a new straight piece where I could cut into it for a better door jamb, whatever. This is the remnants of one of our magic doors, the magnetic screen, keep the mosquitoes out. And these are original lights that were in place, and they're also dust magnets, and oh my gosh, they're also bees and stuff, so you gotta watch it. That electrical is when we redid the electrical. So this year, again, when we put the new air conditioning in, and I think we put a new hot water heater in the bathroom, and when the guy came out, he was like, dude, your whole electrical thing is just messed up or whatever. And so we said, well, then just let's do new electrical, and instead of going through the walls like it was like in a normal house construction, right? This is a double wall construction, unlike my house, which is the big house, which is a single thick wall. This is a double wall panel, which is fine, but they don't put what do you call that, insulation in between it. They just make it hollow wall, and that's where they laid the wires and stuff. But there's no real conduit, I think, so he couldn't like pull it out and do it. So I said, well, go ahead and we'll just lay new electrical, and we'll do it external to the house. But we didn't have the they don't usually in electrical, they make yellow pipe, white pipe, and of course blue pipe, usually water, electrical, and I don't even know, but so I just said, let's do yellow. Yellow looks good with brown. So we have yellow conduit going throughout the house here, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, let's take a look. Alrighty. Yeah, well, this is going to turn this light on. Probably not too much bright, but boom! You can see this little knockdown house has got quite a shine to it still. I mean, I can see it standing on the floor. I don't believe that I've never done anything to the floor. I did replace one board in here somewhere. Or no, I didn't even replace the board. I just took it out and then, reseated it because it was bouncing in from that beam underneath there somewhere. And I think I might have, maybe I put a coat of lacquer on this floor when I did that porch out there, all those years ago, like way before COVID or something. So it's been 2, that was 4 or 5, probably 7 years ago, I guess, in reality, is when I did that porch out there. But it's a nice little size. It's a perfect little bungalow place. You can put your TV over there, and you can put your bed over here, although I think your bed's not supposed to face the door, or not supposed to be with the door, so maybe this way for the bed. Anyway, this refrigerator we got, it's a big refrigerator, so it's probably overkill for this little place, but that's where I keep my stuff in there, and certainly for when we're fishing and stuff. This little nook right here, originally when we first moved in here, we kind of made this a little breakfast nook where we could sit and have breakfast and look at the view. Now we have canopies out there, and the roof is different, so the view is not quite as big, and of course there's much more patio there and stuff. Before it was all jungle and then rice fields on this side. We did put screens up. We had some screens on there when we first got our 2 kittens. When we first moved in, and we didn't want them in the main house with the dogs. The dog was, cats and the dog, we didn't know how that was going, but we had them in here. They were running around, and they would invariably jump up on the screen and whoosh, and so they really tore up those screens. So we had the guy come and put all new screens in, and then but it looks like I'm not sure if we there was a couple times when the cats had been in here since then, and I can see there's a couple holes punched a little bit in these screens. So, but yeah, because when we first moved in, or when we first would come here and we would use this little knockdown house, You know, like I said, there was all jungle around here. It was pretty much just all stuff growing, so there's plenty of bugs. So we couldn't, you know, you wouldn't want to stay here in the midst of all the farm and everything with the windows wide open like we do in our main house up there. But we've since cleared away the jungle and all that stuff, so it probably wouldn't be too bad in here. But again, you know, the floor, everything's in good shape. This is what I was talking about with the electrical, the yellow conduiting, and we're doing it external. So the switches, these are pre-existing plug and switches. There's actually, this is a cable actually goes to the, this is the box for the satellite TV, which still works, by the way. You just gotta put a TV in here. And yeah, the guy did this, set it up with more 220 power. I mean, better power, better line for this big air conditioning. And there's also a hatch to the roof, so you can get up in there and, you know, store stuff if you want. I've already been up there clearing out some of the massive geckos that run around in there. This was a new box we put in my previous video. You might have saw where I just did the electrical where I was sorting out the electrical maybe that I'm going to use for the front gate, which that old breaker box, that breaker box was here. So we got a new one when we did the new electrical and when we got the air conditioning in here. But again, this box here, come on, man, that's overkill. But it was a good deal, I think. That was a thing on there. This light is an original light. It's been here since there, although I cleaned it up a little bit. Let me see if the light still works. The original light switch probably still has plastic on it. You can tell it's original, it's discolored. Oh yeah, there you go, look at that. Boom, still works. The guy did put this in there. This is for the shower, the hot water heater. Before I go into the bathroom, I'll remind you that it's like 17 years old. But yeah, normal bathroom door. This is, you know, typical Thai style in these little small knockdown houses, but still in good shape after all these years. Boom. This is the electrical. Roof is still original. That's a new shower that we put in, and he's got the electrical going out here, and he just punched a hole through there. The tile over the years, you know, that's the one thing about modern bathrooms in wooden houses. It's the same with mine up there. You know, they build the wood walls, and then I think they really just put up like the thin cement board, and then they apply this to it, and they'll use cement for the most part instead of, like, you know, tile, mortar or whatever. Instead of the good expensive stuff, you know, everything's with cement really. And so and through, you know, moisture and heat and not maintaining and stuff, when we came back this year, there was a lot of tiles that were like popped off, like even broken, laying on the ground in here. And you know, and so I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, this whole section that's white was popping off. So I just took a hammer and popped all those off, and then I was able to actually find some white tiles that were you know, extra at the tile store. Just bought, you know, whatever I could, and then I used tile adhesive, put these back in place. Actually, these were long tiles. I wound up cutting these with a tile crimper because I didn't have my saw at that time or anything, so it's kind of crude. But I did the patches on that, and I did more patches over here, and I think over here. Yeah, so I had to redo the tile in here in a few places. The sink is an original sink, and so is the toilet. I think what happened here in the tile, you can see it's all discolored and everything, and mostly I think the tile was discolored from the beginning, because when we first hooked up this house, we hooked it up to the well water, which was the orange, you know, was the, you know, the gray or the, you know, orange color water with all the iron. So as soon as you start using that water, everything starts to discolor. The window that's up here, I caulked that. It's called got quite dirty, but it was starting to get water, I think, in there or something. I forget what I did, or just maybe bugs or something. We got a new screen in there, but I caulked that up better. And yeah, so what I did was I came in here and I used hydrochloric acid. You know, you can buy hydrochloric acid. You know what I mean? In America, it's like 0.5 of 1% that they sell. You know, in Home Depot, whatever. And at 0.5 of 1% solution, it'll still, you know, it'll still eat through your flesh or whatever. But here, dude, it's like 30% hydrochloric acid, I think it was. It's incredible. I still have some out there. But I had to, you know, I just used a couple capfuls or whatever and mix the shit out of it in a 5-gallon bucket. And I just poured it all in here and then flushed it out because the ground was totally orange in here. And now it's, you know, it's probably 99% better, but it still has this discoloration that you can't really get away from. The crack right down the middle. And that, I believe, is probably from, you know, the original, when I was talking about one of those beams where like maybe there was some give in there, and so maybe the foundation for this part had cracked. But the plumbing's still good and everything works. And this is obviously one of my future projects. I'm going to remodel this whole bathroom, but not before I remodel my own, because like I say, when they give you the bathrooms, standard little sink, standard toilet, and standard little mirror, and that's exactly the same thing we have, or that was put in our knockdown house, only you know, 17 years later. Too funny. But easy enough to remove the toilet in here and the sink and that, and replace it, and the tile. It's not that big of an area. You can knock all that tile off. I'll probably wind up doing the walls as well, because I want to make this place nicer, right? I mean, it's still functional. It's fine now. It's got clean water in it, so, you know, it can still be used. And, you know, when we first came here, it was open here, so it had that good view of the pond and everything. It was really nice to sit here and look at that. And the sunsets were great on outside this window. Because originally we didn't have the screens, but you know, soon after we got them, there was no buildings out there or anything. Everything was just nothing but sunsets and all pristine kind of stuff. But yeah, it is quite the small little knockdown house. Let's see if I can get my thumbnail. Boom. And we like it, especially because it has this, you know, the balcony and the inside. We've had people stay in here before. It's easy enough to throw a mat on the floor or bed or whatever in here, and have people stay. Pretty cool, man. Once it gets fixed up, it's gonna look real nice. I mean, you can do a lot with small spaces, and I like to think that when we get finished with this one, it'll be really nice. And again, the cost was, when we first got it, the small solid outside plus all of this and the balcony and all that, everything was, I think it was probably closer to 400,000. I think it was maybe it was bought for 350, and then we did something else. I don't know. I think it was about 400,000. Now this same house is over $1 million baht on the Thai Lana Home website, but you can buy the same one of mixed wood, which is going to be just as well, for probably the same price, or actually even less. You could probably 300,000 baht. You can get something just like this, and they'll put it, you know, installed on your property for you somewhere, and you'll be able to live in it right away. It'll be turnkey. It'll have power. It'll have a bathroom. It'll have beautiful wood and color, and you know, the air conditioning will probably be extra if you wanted to do that. But yeah, it's a great deal, man. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and until next time, thanks for watching, and keep watching for more knockdown here on the Bon Knob.